In the faith, it is known that angels exist in some form or another, and they appear in the Bible and the other holy texts in a various amount of ways. They are often seen to bring messages from God, to provide insight, or have been interpreted to actually involve themselves in the affairs of man. Others see them as incorporeal beings, spirits, or supernatural entities that serve to bring God's wisdom to the realm of men. These angels are thought in some faiths to exist within their own angelic hierarchical system that sees angels having different ranks, some of which determine their power and their closeness to God. The highest rank of angel are thought to be the archangels, and like the angels, have a similar task of delivering God's message. Their duties, however, are usually more profound, such as Archangel Gabriel delivering the news to Mary that she was pregnant with Jesus, or Archangel Michael defeating Lucifer in the heavenly battle of Revelations. One archangel, though, who seems to be up for much contention is the Archangel Raphael, an archangel who, though absent from the Bible, has developed a strong resonance with believers. The number of archangels differs depending on what you believe in. The Bible only ever speaks of two, Michael and Gabriel, and yet many Christians note Raphael as being one of the three most famous archangels. Others would add Archangel Uriel to this list, making it 4, and some count up to 7 archangels, all of whom are thought to exist to bring peace, guidance, and strength upon those who seek it. Raphael specifically is an interesting case, given that he is not mentioned in the Bible, unlike his comrades Michael and Gabriel, despite having gained an equal level of prestige. So where did Raphael come from? Well, as you may know, the Bible had several key stories removed from its pages. Throughout history, the Bible has been recanonized, and this means that several of the books detailing some epic events were axed due to political and cultural reasons. The story of Paul and Thelka, for example, was seen as encouraging too much independence in women, and the Book of Enoch was seen as not being inspired by the Holy Spirit, and so was disregarded. Such is the same for the Book of Tobit, an apocryphal book that details the life of a righteous Israelite known as Tobit and his son Tobias. Tobit was a God-fearing man. He lived his life with good intentions, sought to feed the poor, and spared kindness where he could. Most importantly, he loved his God and would do anything that the Lord commanded. But one fateful day, Tobit lost his eyesight and became blind, though not through battle, disease, or some frightful encounter, but because a bird shat in his eyes. Yes, you heard me correctly. Tobit was just there, minding his own business, thinking about how great his God was, and then, bam! A bird flew over and took a dump, right there in his eyes. I guess you can kind of see why they took this one out. Anyway, Tobit tells his son Tobias to go on an errand to the city of Media, and to reclaim some money he had lent to a man named Gebulus. Tobias, though, was a bit wary of this task, but his father gave him a note to give to Gebulus, so as to verify who he is, and tells his son to seek out a righteous man to guide him on his way. It is here that Tobias stumbles on what is described as a beautiful man, who he asks to join on his adventure and to serve as the guide which his father had insisted upon. The beautiful man identifies himself as Azariah, but the narrator of the story tells us that this was actually Archangel Raphael in disguise. Azariah, or Raphael, agrees to help Tobias on his journey, promising to keep him safe and to ensure his quest of reclaiming his father's money is completed. At the same time, we also learn of the character Sarah from Mead, who we see is suffering from a curse and haunted by a demon named Asmodeus. The curse appears to kill every suitor Sarah marries, and sees that each man dies on their wedding night before the consummation of the marriage. We understand that this has happened a total of 7 times. Sarah is actually insulted by a maid who taunts her for her unfortunate curse, and this sees Sarah retreat to her room to pray for 3 days straight. Meanwhile, on the road, Tobias and Azariah settle down to camp, where Tobias is attacked by a monstrous fish that comes up from the river to devour him. Azariah saves Tobias, snatches the fish out of the water before telling Tobias to gut it. The innards of the fish are removed, and Azariah tells Tobias that one may use these parts of the fish for healing the sick and wounded. Tobias doesn't appear to fully grasp the notion of this, but he collects the fish's guts and packs them away. Tobias and Azariah arrive at Raguel's home, a kinsman of one of the tribes of Israel and an ally, according to Azariah. Raguel is also the father of the cursed Sarah. Azariah rather forwardly and randomly tells Tobias that he should marry Sarah, and Tobias, despite being aware of her husband-killing curse, agrees. He does show some reluctance, but Azariah is keen to play matchmaker, and tells Tobias to pray with Sarah for 3 days before consummating their marriage. He tells them that on the first day he should lay the liver of the fish on the fire, and that this will keep the demon away, and that by the 3rd night he will receive a blessing that will see him impregnate Sarah. On the 4th day he will give her child, though not for lust, but for the love of children. Tobias sees nothing amiss by any of this, and does exactly as Azariah tells him. He receives the blessing of Sarah's father, who recognizes Tobias to be the son of a good man in Tobit, and receives Sarah's hand in marriage. Tobias and Sarah retreat to their chambers, but instead of consummating the marriage immediately, Tobias remembered Azariah's words, and whipped out the fish liver, and began to burn it over a set of coals. At the same time, Azariah, now noted as Raphael and unbeknownst to anyone, sought out the demon Asmodeus and defeated him. He then took him to the desert of Upper Egypt and bound him there, preventing him from having any further influence on Sarah ever again. Tobias and Sarah spend 3 days praying, as told by Azariah. On the 4th day, they are thought to have finally slept together. Raguel, who is distressed that Tobias is now dead because of the curse, begins to dig his grave. He tells his wife to send a maidservant to see if he is dead, and means to bury him before the end of the day. However, the maidservant finds Tobias to be alive and well. Returning to Raguel, the maidservant informs him of the good news, to which Raguel rejoices, perhaps the only man in the world to be abundantly thrilled that his daughter's virginity has been taken. A feast is prepared, and both Tobias and Sarah are celebrated. Tobias appears to get pretty comfortable. He receives half of what Raguel owns, and seems to live a life of luxury. In fact, he gets so comfortable, he fobs off his original quest to get his father's money, and asks Azariah to give the note to Gabulus for him. Azariah agrees, meets with Gabulus, and gets the money. He even invites Gabulus to the celebrations. Basically, Tobias literally does nothing in this story. You might say he gets power leveled by Azariah, lives off the reputation of his father being a good man, and maintains a single shred of heroics for having boned Sarah and not died, courtesy of Archangel Raphael defeating the demon Asmodeus. Tobias doesn't even send word to his parents that he is okay, and they are seen to be fretting about him. Raguel even offers to send a message to them on his behalf, but Tobias simply tells him, "Nah, it's cool bro, I'll get off my ass and do it myself for once." Infuriatingly, Raguel is seen to give him half of his servants, cattle, camels, kin, and money for the journey. I think he also presents him with a gift-wrapped box containing his testicles, but the book doesn't actually say this, it's merely my interpretation. But come at me if you think I'm wrong. As they return home, Azariah tells Tobias to kiss his father, and immediately to place the gall of the fish he'd killed upon his father's forehead. Immediately, Tobit recovers his eyesight, and they all glorify God and proceed to engage in several days of feasts and celebrations. In the final chapters, Tobias calls his son over and tells him, "Look, you really did jack on this journey, we should probably give something to Azariah." Tobias agrees that Azariah is the real MVP, and he offers a half of everything that he'd been given to the angel in disguise. Azariah then reveals himself to Tobias and Tobit as Raphael, and he tells them that he'd been sent by the Lord to help them. In 12:13 through 15, he states, "Because thou hast been acceptable to God, it was necessary that temptation should prove thee. And now the Lord hath sent me to heal thee, and to deliver Sarah, thy son's wife, from the devil. For I am the angel Raphael, one of the 7, who stand before the Lord. Tobias and his son fall to their knees in fear and reverence, but Raphael tells them, "Peace be to you, fear not, for when I was with you, I was there by the will of God. Bless him and sing praises to him. It is time, therefore, that I return to him that sent me. But bless ye God, and publish all of his wonderful works." Raphael then disappears from their sight, and Tobit and Tobias proceed to bless God and spread the word of his wonderful works, as Raphael told them to. Archangel Raphael also appears in everyone's favourite Book of Enoch. The story is a fascinating tale of how the Watchers, a group of angels that ultimately betray God and descend upon the mortal women to impregnate them. The women gave birth to a race of vicious giants known as the Nephilim, who go about destroying the earth, and soon God is made aware of this betrayal by the archangels, who hear the cries of the mortals. We understand that amongst the Watchers is Azazel, an angel who teaches the mortals how to fight and how to use weapons against each other. While the Watchers begin to share many secrets of God after having fornicated with the women, it is Azazel who is held with the most contempt, possibly because the divulging of warfare to the mortals was seen as the most detrimental. In the 10th chapter of the Book of Enoch, God takes action. He sends his archangels to sort out the earth and gives them all a specific set of tasks. Interestingly, Raphael is given a set of complex orders, as God tells him, "Bind Azazel, hand and foot, cast him into the darkness, and opening the desert which is in Dudael, cast him in there. Throw upon him hurled and pointed stones, covering him with darkness. There shall he remain forever. Cover his face, that he may not see the light, and in the great day of judgment let him be cast into the fire. Restore the earth which the angels have corrupted, and announce life to it, that I may revive it." What's really interesting here is the parallel between Raphael here and the Raphael in Tobit. Notice how in both stories it is Raphael who is responsible for the binding of an evil entity in the desert. While in Tobit he binds the demon Asmodeus, Enoch sees him bind Azazel, a watcher, though one who some attribute to being a demon as well. In this, Archangel Raphael can be seen as the one who destroys demons or vanquishes evil. Though on the other hand, Raphael is also seen as an angel who heals people in need. We see him heal Tobit's blindness, and in a way, we see him heal Sarah's pain as he breaks her curse. Raphael in Enoch, however, is seen to heal the earth, as God tells him to restore the earth after it had been corrupted by the Watchers and their spawn. He is told to announce life here, almost like he's been told to rebuild or restore it to the perfect state it once was before the intervention of the Watchers. So while Raphael is seen to be a destroyer of demons, he essentially has a softer side reserved to bring in healing upon both people and the land itself. The Archangel Raphael has become a most popular and celebrated figure amongst Christians. In fact, many are shocked to learn that their favourite archangel isn't even mentioned in the Bible. While he's heralded mainly as the Archangel of Healing, he doesn't have much of a presence beyond Tobit and Enoch. However, an interesting idea is that Raphael is in the Bible, but we just don't know it's him, similarly to how Tobit and Tobias don't know the true identity of Azariah. By this, Raphael could be lurking in any one of the characters in the Bible, for we understand he is something of a shapeshifter and can take the form of anyone, adapting a whole new persona with practiced efficiency. Therefore, Raphael could literally be anyone and we would be none the wiser, much as Tobias was. There is one area in the Bible which some believers attribute to Archangel Raphael, and that is in John 5, where John makes reference to the pool of Bethesda, where several disabled people lay in wait of the movement of the water, a sign thought to signify that an angel was descending upon the area, and he who went into the water at this time would be miraculously healed of his condition. The passage reads, "Now there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool, which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool, and trouble the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of water stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. Because of the nature of Raphael having healed Tobit and Sarah, and because of his restoration of the earth in Enoch, the angel in this verse of John is often associated with Raphael, having brought healing upon whoever enters the waters first. It is through these events and ideas that we begin to see how Raphael earned his reputation as an archangel of healing, and that his efforts usually pertain to the alleviation or mending of one's ailments. The idea of Raphael being an angel of healing extends into other religious works, where we see him appear alongside Michael and Gabriel in the Babylonian Talmud. He is identified on the left side of Gabriel, and appears before Abraham at the Oak Grove of Mamre. Here they are each given a mission, similarly to how they are given missions in Enoch. Raphael is ordered to heal Abraham after his recent circumcision, again conforming to the idea of him easing pain, as well as to save Lot from the destruction of Sodom, again another act that fits into his rescuing nature. Raphael is mentioned in a few apocryphal Jewish books by name, and usually appears in connection with the other archangels. Meanwhile, in Islam, Raphael is known as Israfil in Arabic, and is thought to traditionally take the role of an angel who holds a trumpet at his lips and stands atop a holy rock in Jerusalem. It's thought that he holds the trumpet at his lips constantly, so that he is able to immediately blow it once Allah has given him the green light, so as to signify the day of resurrection. While Israfil is not mentioned in the Quran, believers often attribute the angel mentioned in 3968 as him, where it states, "And the trumpet shall be blown, so all those that are in the heavens and all those that are in the earth shall swoon, except him whom Allah will. Then it shall be blown again, and they shall stand up waiting." Some Islamic beliefs see Israfil possess 4 wings, and that he is tall enough to reach the heights of heaven whilst being on the base of earth. He is thought to be a master of music, and that he is heard to be singing praises to God in several different languages. His songs are thought to be contagious too, and that they cause the other angels to join in with the singing too. Israfil is also seen as one of the highest angels in that he serves as a mediator between God and the other archangels, and that he is something of a conduit for God's commands. Some Sufi beliefs, Sufi being a sort of Islamic mysticism, tells us that Israfil is the being that man should aspire to be most like. To be like this archangel is to have a strong heart, and by being like Israfil, one can be seen as a perfect human being. Due to Raphael's actions in the Book of Tobit, he has since become known as the patron of travellers, the blind, physicians, medicine, and general healing. He is also the angelic hitch, in that he serves as a matchmaker, and sometimes is even dubbed as an angel of love, bringing people together in holy matrimony. He is thought to be the enemy of demons and actively seeks to banish them when called upon. Most notably though, his prime patronage is reserved for travellers and pilgrims, where he is often depicted walking beside them with a staff. Often he is seen holding a fish, which some might say is a throwback to the fish in Tobit, and alludes to the idea that he is always ready to heal someone using his unorthodox methods of disemboweling a fish and using its organs. Today, many people of the faith believe they see Archangel Raphael and are able to call to him for guidance and protection. There are some common signs which people may report when they experience the presence of Raphael, a notable one being the witnessing of emerald green. Often this comes to them in the form of bright green lights, or the vivid image of a green flashing before the mind's eye. Others see flashes of green or might see the green of trees, grass, and shrubbery, which they attribute to the presence of Raphael. A general feeling of relaxation or calmness is said to overcome they who experience it. Minor ailments such as blocked noses, sore throats, or stomach aches are said to be alleviated in these moments. Others speak of actually seeing Archangel Raphael, a very tall angel who wears a green mantle and is adorned in gold. He is said to radiate healing energy, and to simply be beside him is to cure oneself of their ailments. Warm sensations and vibrations in wounded areas are also considered to be a sign that Raphael's healing hands are placed on the individual, and then he is trying to make them feel better. Dreams also play a factor in seeing Archangel Raphael, where believers have reported being healed by the angel and are thought to see him in his absolute true form. It is here that one may hear the voice of Raphael whispering soothing words and offering suggestions about how to better take care of one's health. It is thought not to be a dream one would easily forget, and is said to account for a sudden health change that one may implement into their life, or the breaking of a habit. But let me know what you thought about Archangel Raphael, and how you think he compares to his peers Michael and Gabriel. Who is your favourite archangel? And have you had any experiences with them in the ways described here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Until the next time, guys.